Today we'll be practicing a 15-minute full body yoga stretch to help us feel refreshed and to release tension from the entire body. You won't be needing any props, so grab your yoga mat and let's get started. Beginning in a seated position, waking up the hips with butterfly pose, bringing the soles of the feet together, hips soft and hinging forward, bringing the chest forward or rounding through the spine, softening through the neck and the shoulders, extending the arms if you'd like, and softening across the lower spine, slowly rounding back up. Swing the left side of your butterfly around in reverse. Grab a hold of the left shin, right arm to the right, flip the palm up, reach overhead. A nice big side body stretch to the left. Keeping that right side of the chest open. Stretch down the whole right side. Release the right hand back down. Lift the left arm overhead, forming one long diagonal line. Then rotate to the right, reaching both arms to the right. You can walk the hands a little further away from the body. You can always come down to the elbows or lower the head directly onto the mat, whatever feels best. Think of pulling that left hip away from the arms. Walk the hands back in, close to the body, drawing that right side of the chest back. Then come back to center. Extending the left leg, pointing the right fingertips behind you. Sweep that left arm up, shift all the weight onto the lower right leg, lifting through the hips, opening up the front of the left hip, the left side of the chest. The mermaid pose, and release the hips back down. Swinging the left leg straight ahead, crossing right over the left leg, and bring the lower left leg in close to the body. Coming into seated twist. Settle the right arm behind your backside, reaching the left arm straight up and pulling that left elbow down, hooking it onto the outer right leg. Nice and lifted through the spine, gazing over the right shoulder, gazing over the left shoulder. Gently release, come back to center. Uncross the legs, returning back to butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together, hinging forward from the hips, rounding the spine, softening across the lower back, softening through the hips, nothing forced here. Gently rounding up, and this time swinging the right side of your butterfly around backwards. Grabbing that right shin, left arm reaching up overhead, big side body bend to the right. Keeping the left side of the chest open. And releasing the left hand back down. Now reaching the right arm up overhead, creating a long diagonal line. And then rotating to the left, walking the arms out away from the body. Think of that right hip pulling away from the hands. Lower to the elbows or bring the forehead all the way down to the mat, whatever feels good. Gently start walking it back up. Keep rotating to the left. Come back to center, extend the right leg, and sweep the right arm up, shifting all the weight onto the lower left leg, lifting the hips for a mermaid stretch. Release it back down. Swing the right leg straight ahead, crossing left over right. Sweep that lower right leg in close to the body. That's an option. Reaching the right arm up, bringing that right elbow over to the outer left leg. Left arm behind your backside. completing the twist by looking over the left shoulder. Now turn your gaze to look over the right shoulder. Go ahead and slowly come back. Unravel and come on to the hands and knees for tabletop pose. Aligning wrist under shoulders, knees under hips. Cat-cow stretch. Inhale, lifting the chest and hips. Exhale, rounding through the spine, tucking the hips and hanging the head. And repeat that. Now open your knees about the width of your mat and bring your toes together. Center the right hand, rotate the left arm open toward your left, opening up through the chest, and then thread the left arm underneath the chest and belly. Rotate to the right, settling the left ear, cheek, shoulder onto the mat. Option to reach the right arm up, flip the palm, and tuck the back of the right hand somewhere along the lower spine. Go ahead and release the right hand back to the mat. Unthread the left arm. And nice little counter stretch. Rotate the left arm open to the left. Repeat that on the other side, centering the left hand. Rotate the right arm open to the right. Thread it underneath the chest and belly, settling the right ear, cheek, and shoulder onto the mat. Option to extend the left arm up, flip the palm, and tuck the palm behind the lower spine. Release the left hand back to the mat, unthreading the right arm, counter stretch, rotate open to your right. Return back to tabletop with the knees aligned under the hips. Flex the feet, curling the toes under for a nice stretch in the bottom of the feet, resting the hips on top of the heels. A nice easy twist to the left, nice easy twist to the right. Come back to center. Place a little bit of weight onto the hands. Lift the knees off the mat and start walking the hands back toward the feet, stacking the shoulders over the hips into a balancing position on the toes. You can keep your hands down at your sides or take the hands to the heart, activating the inner thighs for more stability, or raise the hands over the head. Choose whatever progression works for you. Bring some awareness to the feet, finding just the right focus point. Return the arms back to the mat. Lower the knees and settle onto the tops of the feet. Coming onto the hands and knees for tabletop. Flex the feet and spread through the fingers. On the exhale, lift the hips to your downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. Hips lifted. Send that right leg up, three-legged dog. Driving the left heel down. Bend the right knee. Sweep that right knee under the chest and belly. Settle the right foot, top of the mat. Lower the knee. Open up the right arm, opening the chest. Reach the right arm back. Bend in the left knee. Reach around, maybe grabbing onto that left foot or ankle. Releasing the leg, settle the right hand back to the mat. Step back with the right into a knee plank. Lowering the chest into chaturanga. Inhale, lift the chest to a sphinx pose and start pressing the hips back into a tabletop position. Flex the feet. Cat-cow stretch. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, rounding. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, rounding. Pressing back to downward dog. Pedaling through the feet, loosen up the calves. Send the left leg up, three-legged dog. Place a bend in the left knee. Sweep that left foot forward, top of the mat. Lower onto the knee. Rotate the left arm open to the left. Reaching back, place a bend in the right knee, grabbing the foot or the ankle. Little extra stretch for the thigh. Place the left arm back onto the mat. Swing the left leg back for plank, lower chaturanga. Inhale, lifting cobra, sphinx pose. Nice extension in the spine. Pressing the hips back to a child's pose. Stretch in the low back, fully extending the arms for stretch in the shoulders. Now lifting the heels of the hands, clawing the fingers into the mat and pulling the hips away from the fingers. Now release the arms at your sides. Just let them relax with the palms facing up. Inviting length through the spine. Slowly press up, coming into a seated position in the center of the mat. Lower onto your backside. Give the knees a hug. Rocking side to side, massaging the spine. Lower the feet to the mat. Setting up for bridge pose. Pressing in the soles of the feet, shoulder blades, and palms. Tucking the tailbone. Start lifting the hips, squeezing through the whole back side, opening up the front side of the body. Creating space across the chest, across the hips and the belly. Gently lower the hips back to the mat. Give the knees a hug. And settle the feet back to the mat for another bridge pose with a bit of a variation here. Tucking the tailbone, lifting the hips, and this time start rolling the shoulders underneath the body. Interlacing the fingers, extending the arms as we press the knuckles toward the heels. Use that leverage to lift the chest and the hips a little bit higher on this bridge, opening up through the chest and the hips, keeping the knees hip distance apart, breathing the best you can. Release the arms and lower the hips to the mat. Give the knees another hug, releasing any tension in the low back, rocking side to side, massaging the spine. Lift the chin to the chest and then go ahead and rock up to a seated position. Bring the soles of the feet together for a quick butterfly stretch. Always a nice release in the hip area. Bring the legs forward. Some windshield wipers with the legs together. Releasing any tension that you might still be carrying in the lower spine or through the hips. And preparing ourselves for our final pose, Ustrasana camel pose. Swing the feet around, come upright onto the knees, curl the toes under, flexing the feet, roll the shoulders back, placing the hands on the lower back with the fingertips pointing down. Start gently pressing the hips forward and opening up through the chest. Option to reach back and grab a hold of the heels. Chest melting open, hips directed forward for a more intense stretch. Lower onto the tops of the feet. Let the head drop back, softening through the neck and the jaw, or keep the neck in a more neutral position. Very gently begin easing out of the pose, bringing the hands to the low back, hands back to the mat and round the back in a cat stretch. Swing the legs to a seated position. Thanks so much for joining me for this stretch and refresh practice. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel or share the video and press the like button. Feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section. Have a great day.